Hi everyone, thanks for dropping by the channel this week. We've got a great episode for you. We're going to be talking about black and white conversions, how I process my RAW and JPEG files to a beautiful black and white conversion. So hey, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've got a really cool product I'm using here from BenQ. BenQ was kind enough to send it to me. It's called their Screenbar Plus, and it's this little gizmo right here, and this right here, what it does is it lights up your work area, and you can use this dial over here to increase the light or to lessen the light. I have it turned down all the way. But the other thing it does is it controls your white balance, or I should say your color temperature rather. You can see it goes from hot to warm and then back again. And what I'm going to do is I have it'll reset itself, which is really cool to the light you have in the room. So that's what I do here. It just goes up and down, changes the color balance or whatever it is. So as you can see, we've got your LED lights here, and you got a little bit of rubber right here, and a weight, and some more rubber right here, and a little lip. This is what makes it fit over the top of the monitor so well. But boy, this is a great little unit. Just thought I'd show it to you. So this is the image I'm going to start with. It's an image of a lobster bow with, over at motif number 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to optimize this RAF file just for conversion to black and white. And when you look at it, you're going to go, that's really overdone. Well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make it so that it does better as a black and white conversion than it would if I was just to use it straight like this. If I was to use it straight like this, just as a straight black and white conversion in Lightroom, this is what it looks like. Boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to one of my presets, which is going to be Kirk Start. And this gives me a nice base level to start with. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a little bit more to get it more the way I like it. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to change this over here to Ostia Soft, because I really like this particular Fuji, what do you call it, preset, or I should say profile. Now, you can leave it on Adobe Color. You can change it to, you could change this to, if you wanted to, you could change it to Landscape. And you can see that the colors get enhanced. But I like to leave mine here at the Fuji Ostia Soft. All right, so what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make sure that my blues, I'm going to try and get my blues so that they stand out more. Now, that's not to say that I would leave it like that if I was doing this image in color, because I certainly would not. Let's see, let's go over here down to HSL color, and we're going to say saturation. We want to saturate the blues a little bit more, and we want to maybe knock down the luminance a little bit so it's darker and more vibrant. Because what I want this to happen is here, I want these blues to be nice and dark when I do my conversion. Okay, so as you can see, the other side of this motif here is kind of dark, and I might want to lighten that up just a little bit. And this is a global adjustment, but I'm going to give it a little bit of a boost. Now, as you can see, this is a little bit overdone for a color shot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to Photo. I'm going to access my Silver Efex Pro, which is in here, Silver Efex Pro2. And it's going to create a copy of this, which is actually a TIFF file. And you notice I haven't done any cropping or anything or straightening out or anything. Wait for it to pop up, which it's doing right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of my favorite presets that, as you can see, this particular black and white conversion right now isn't really that bad. And the other thing I do is I use the histogram over here to see if I've got, you can see by running my mouse over these, you can see by running my mouse over the histogram. This is 0, that's completely black. It's just a little bit, you can see there's nothing over here in the 10 range, or maybe very little over here in the 10 range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my presets over here, and my absolute favorite one here is probably high structure smooth. Look what that has done to the sky and to the water and everything. It's just beautiful. And you know, you can make adjustments over here, amplify whites, amplify blacks in the contrast area. You can add more structure to the midtones or the shadows. Let's see what happens if I add more structure to the midtone, to the shadows. You can see that it bumps up the contrast a little bit. I'm not sure I want to do that. So I'm going to leave that at 0. And boy, it's really done an amazing job on this. Now let's try some other ones to see what happens here. Now, I don't use these push process ones. Full dynamic harsh tends to add some halos, but it has a different effect to it. You can see that it's really amplified the sky even more. And that's full dynamic harsh. This is smooth. I would definitely go with harsh if I was using it. You can see full spectrum. Boy, look how dark that is. No, I don't think so. Full spectrum inverse. I tend to use fine art process every once in a while because it's a little bit weaker, but it does a fine job, I will say. Now, if we go look at these other wet rocks, I like this look a lot, and I tend to use this, but what we're going to get here is maybe some halos around these things. Now, if I take my brightness here and I brighten this up a bit, doesn't look too bad, but it's definitely way more contrasty, and it definitely has an HDR look to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to not full dynamic. Is it full dynamic? Yeah, where are we? Structure. All right, so I'm going to use high structure smooth or harsh. More harsh. And I might bring my brightness down just a little bit, and that looks great to me. Now what this is going to do, now you can see I have more of I've got some over here that are out of gamut. See, it's pretty much black here, but I don't really care because these areas are going to disappear anyway when I make a print of it. But you can see that I've got a full range of tones. So I'm going to save this, and this is going to go into Lightroom. And I can compare it and crop it and so on and so forth. All right, so there it is. Let's go back to the color version. Here's the color version. There's the converted version. You can see, boy, we've got a lot. It's just gorgeous. Let's see if we've got some halos, though, up in here around this bird. Got some halo here. But you know what? When that prints, I don't think it's going to be that bad, and it's not going to really be that much of an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to crop this a little bit because I want to make sure that it's level, somewhere in that range, and come down just a little bit. Oop. We want to go back to where it's as shot. And come down a little bit. About in there. Okay, I think it looks great. I don't like these halos up here. It kind of bothers me, but I might be able to take care of that later. I'm not really sure. So that's this image here. And as you can see, it all starts with my presets that I have done myself. And my presets are backlit start, flat light start, Kirk's cheat start, which is actually just adding landscape to it, the landscape profile. Strong side light, sunrise, sunset, underexposed. So, as you can see, I have a great starting point for my black and white conversions. So I can do this fairly quickly. Now let's go on to another example here. And what this is a scene that I shot with a Leica 28mm lens. And as you can see up here, it's really blown out around here by the light coming in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to my start, and I'm going to hit Kirk start. And as you can see, if I hit Kirk start, it all comes back in over here, which is actually pretty cool. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to go over here to Oh, what am I doing? Going to edit in Silver Efex Pro, and I'll tell you, if you think about this, this is so easy. We're just hitting 2 presets and boom, we have it. You know, so I'm going to probably use high structure again. We'll see what happens. It's coming back up again, and you can see that the original here, or the neutral result, isn't really that bad at all. It's actually pretty good. But I kind of want to add a little contrast to it, so I'm going to go to high structure, smooth. Look what that does. Now, if I want to add some more detail in these chairs here, when I get it back into Lightroom, I'm going to do some more things to it. But let's see what happens if I just darken this exposure up just a little bit more, maybe. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, and you can see we've got a full tonal range. You can see we've got a great tones. That's awesome. All right, so back we go into Lightroom. And what I'm going to do in Lightroom is I'm going to add some more texture to this image. So that means some very fine contrast. So we're going to go over here and we're going to add some more texture. As you can see, it adds more contrast to these chairs. And the Clarify tool, just a little more contrast in other areas. Dehaze adds way too much contrast, so I'm not even going to use that. I'm just going to bring it down a little bit. And this has got a lot of contrast to it. I may try and just knock this contrast down just a little bit. But that's pretty much the way I like it. You know, I really love the way this came out. I love the way the water is shining over here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, and I shot a black and white JPEG at the same time. Let's see if I can go back and find it here. Let's see. That's the edit. We're going to delete this edit. And this edit's going to go over here like this. All right, so let's look at these JPEG files. Where's my JPEG file? All right, this is the original JPEG file, and you can see that this is the edit. Here's the color version. So let's go to the color version. Let me see, I'm going to bring these back together again here like this. All right, so there's the color version. What I'm going to do with the color version here is I'm going to go back to my history, and I'm going to bring it back to the RAW file. History. All right, this is without the preset added. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you the JPEG file that's in black and white and the color file. As you can see, here's the JPEG file. Jeez, I can't get these guys to show up together. Here, go over there. All right, here's the JPEG file. Here's the color file. You can see that the color and the shine coming off the water here is pretty equal. Oh, that's the edit file. So you can see they're pretty equal here. So basically all the camera has done is it's just eliminated the color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to see if I can play with this JPEG file and see if I can get it similar. So we're going to go over here and Kirkster. Oh, look at that. You can see it brought back this water over here and it actually looks pretty good. So if we add a little texture to enhance these seats here, and we're going to maybe add a little more contrast. And maybe open up these shadows just a little bit. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. And that's the JPEG straight out of camera. Let's see how these look. Wow, they're pretty close. So as you can see, you can make it look pretty close to, you can see it's a little bit grittier in the Silver Efex Pro version. I really like the Silver Efex Pro version a little bit better, but boy, it's pretty close. Pretty amazing. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this little segment on converting to black and white from your RAW files, or actually even from your JPEG files. Because in Lightroom you can do an awful lot, and then using Silver Efex Pro, it really makes a big difference. That's not to say that you can't also do this in Capture One, because you can. And you can optimize your image inside Capture One and then send it out to Silver Efex Pro and do the exact same thing. So you folks that use Capture One all the time, and I do from time to time, and I just didn't want to include it here because it would kind of muck things up a little bit, but you can do exactly the same thing and make just as spectacular black and white conversions there. So that's it for this week, and we'll catch you next time.